So it's day 251 of Hey, What Are You Doing Today? I was thinking back to, I don't know, had it been within the first 30 or 60 days, I was thinking, what would it be like when I'm saying day 2, blah, 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 or day 3, blah, blah, blah. I still got the 300s to go. Once I hit 300, I still got 65 more days. Man, it makes me realize how long a year really is. I mean, to stop and pay attention to it, it's when I don't stop and pay attention to it, the years just seem to be flying by. But to think back on everything that's gone on, it's kind of nice that I have this daily documentation in some way, shape, or form. Just kind of to see where I'm at, see what this year has amounted to, what it's accrued to, and it feels good to have a project to work on. I mean, for what it's worth, I've spent almost 5 years in this company with no real plan, just to get money, spend money, get money, spend money kind of life, and no real awareness of where I'm going or where I want to go or any of that stuff. So it feels good to be working on something. I think that there's a benefit in that. It's kind of very similar to the saying that it's not about the goal, it's about the journey, or it's not a it's not about where the spot, it's about getting there. I can't remember exactly how that saying goes, but it's kind of the same thing. I'm just this has been such an enjoyable 251 days. I mean, there's been ups and downs, and I've tried to kind of document that as I go along. But for the most part, it's been good, powerful days. And I was thinking, I've come across some peculiar information here that I've been listening to the last couple of days, at least last 2 or 3 days, and I was thinking it's in some regards it's kind of not anti, but it's just I don't know if that's the right word, but it's not something that seems like it would be useful in terms of this main project of making myself a better person, making myself a more successful person. And this newer stuff I've come across is kind of teaching me how to, or not teaching me, but it's kind of commenting on how to withdraw from the self and withdraw from the ego, and a lot of the things that make me want to become more successful are very ego-based things, are very self-centered things. Not self-centered, and sometimes it's difficult to formulate the right word. Maybe that's why we have so many words and and so many languages on top of that. But a lot of the driving forces are ego based, and here now I've come across something that's teaching me to, or not teaching me, but educating me on overcoming the ego and overcoming the self, and just enjoy the sense of being and enjoy the bliss that comes from that. And that's the beautiful, powerful thoughts, and there's a utility and a usefulness to all that. But I was thinking about that. I was like, it's kind of an antagonist to having a driving goal to better myself, or to improve myself, and here's this part that's telling me lose the self, forget the self, just become aware of being alive. But ultimately, as I come across these pieces of information, and I'll revisit them. I intend on revisiting all the information that I've accrued along the way. But it's all just I can see valid utility in it outside of it's outside of the form that I'm receiving it. What I mean by that is the way it's being presented, and the idea behind it. Even if I can't get 100% on board a certain thought concept, there's a utility to it. It's for example, if I'm in a situation where something's bothering me, or something's frustrating me, I can totally step beyond it with that frame of thought of just enjoy being, and enjoy things for as they are. It's, accept them because it's don't not to be judgmental of exactly what's going on. It may appear to be bad in the or disagreeable in the moment, but it might be preventing something worse from happening, or it might open up a door to something better down the road. So there's no sense in calling something good or bad at any given time, because you never know what's coming of that. If it comes down to a story I've heard related by a couple of different people. A guy is just for example, his son falls and breaks a leg, and oh, how unfortunate. And then then the military comes to take all the young boys that have to join the military to fight the war, but they can't take him because his leg's broken. At first the leg being broken looks like a terrible incident. There's more detail to that. I've heard it told in a couple different ways, a couple different forms. The kid was a farmer, and now he can't farm, and blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. But that's a very simple example of it. A broken leg seems like a bad thing until somebody comes and tries to take you away to fight a war that anyway, don't want to get into too many details of that hypothesis, but I think the idea has been achieved. But really, I mean, it's just everything is a valid, valuable tool in some way, shape, or form. Where it's coming from, or what it's based in, or some of it might, like, I came across this one piece of information I was listening to, and I thought it was really valid, valuable information, and I still do. I don't want to make light of it, but then I did a little research on where the information was coming from, and it turns out well, and I don't know, if it's what the real truth is in it or not, because there's a couple sides of the story, but came down to the guy was he's in federal prison now for fraud and this and that, and it's kind of very anti what he was teaching. However, I'm not going to let that affect the information that I got out of it and the thoughts that I got out of it. So I could find somebody that's just totally way out, lost on some kind of crazy new age tangent that makes no sense to me and has no validity whatsoever. But if I can find some validity in their concepts, or a tool in an idea, or a thought process, or a way of thinking, or something, everything is valid and valuable to me. It just depends on how I take it in and how I decide to use it, how it materializes outside of me. But the big thing for me, and I've mentioned this quite a few times, just keeping my mind open, actively seeking information, and keeping my mind open, and then